Hi, I'm Angela, and this video is about balancing your emotions. And why is it important to balance your emotions? I have in the bottom of the video a link to a Facebook Live I did on a strategy to balance your emotions. So one of the reasons, if we're looking at love and togetherness, building relationships that we're happier about, when we balance our emotions or learn what that is, what happens is that you have more emotional availability for those in your love relationships, whether it's family members, children, or your partners and spouse. So when our emotions get out of balance, we're probably more used to what that looks like. So you might be aware that you're out of balance because your emotions are all over the place. You might feel a lot of symptoms of being out of balance, like physical fatigue, or you might have negative thoughts and emotions that go round and round in circles that basically make you feel tired and heavy. So, what happens when we're getting a balance in our emotions? We often may not recognize what that looks like. And I talk about that in more detail in the Facebook Live, where you can look at, okay, this is how I know I'm out of balance, but when do I know that I'm actually emotionally balanced? And that may change for you depending on different times of your life. So, balancing our emotions is not just about a one size fits all or a one time fits all thing. It's a life journey, and it's about learning that what you were as a child is not who you are now. So, who are you now? And that's changing. And that's challenging to people because there's somehow this feeling, I should have worked things out by a certain age. That's a very, mass consciousness way of looking at emotions. And if you look more in the arts and romance is much more fluid and also much more romantic about the process of emotional development and also what love can bring out of you. It's not predictable. In fact, it's sometimes unpredictable, and it may mean that you'll discover things about yourself you didn't know before. So be aware that if you're looking to try and be balanced in your emotions, there's sometimes that myth or illusion that somehow you've got to get it right and you've got to be zen about everything and really cool and groovy about conflict. It's actually quite the opposite. It's about balancing your emotions, is learning how to talk to them, listen to your emotions, find out what you're feeling, and then how to relate to things that are conflicting or upsetting you or people that you love. So, in terms of love and togetherness, balancing your emotions is also about learning what you feeling and what are you potentially upset about when upset comes. You may not be upset, you may be overwhelmed. And that's a typical response people feel today with the increasing pace of modern life and demands and expectations to not just have a job or a career or a professional life, but also to have these amazing intimate lives and also be amazing parents as well. So there's a lot of expectation in our society generally that you can be on and available all the time. And emotions sometimes actually may need to communicate you by putting you out of balance. So you may have to go out of balance sometimes if you are running from this illusion that you have to be kind of balanced and perfect all the time. So emotions will put you out of balance to slow you down and get you to listen. So the two ways that I typically recognize the emotions are communicating to me, because often our emotions are feelings, they're not conscious. The two ways that I notice is through physical tiredness or sickness, illness, and through circular thoughts going over and over and over, and perhaps underneath those thoughts are negative feelings going over and over and over, or those voices in your head that put you down or criticize others. So if you're experiencing that, be aware that it's your emotions out of balance trying to get your attention to communicate what's not working for you, what potentially is an upset for you. And it's not a bad thing. Being out of balance is not a bad thing. but it's learning how to listen to the emotion so then you can find a way to resolve what's not working for you. And it's not about perfection, rather it's about, okay, if this is how I'm feeling, what's the appropriate response in this moment for this particular relationship or situation, and being aware that that may change from moment to moment. As human beings, emotional creatures that we are, we have a lifetime of emotion, and you may have an emotional response that's triggering something from the past, and it's about learning how to respond differently. But because of our emotional brain, we tend to do and respond from our programming or bad experiences from the past. Our emotional brain's wired that way. So the more you learn to actually listen, what's not working for you, what's upsetting you, and just feel if I'm tired or overwhelmed, or if my circular thoughts are coming around and putting me down or somebody else, what's actually upsetting me, and then asking yourself what would be a better response. And so if you'd like more work and practical strategies to listen to yourself and balance the emotions, I have a Managing Mastering Your Emotions class. And also the coaching and spiritual mentoring is geared specifically to help you learn about your own emotional mastery through your own personality type and how you work with emotions. So you can sign up for the free discovery session below to discuss more of what that would entail, and check out the emotional mastery class as well.